All right, so kicks. I'll get to that. All right, so
is your mic on?
Kicks. Definitions. So it's a ton of definitions that apply to the kicking game. Okay, and we always talk about how definitions are the fundamentals for understanding the rules. And so I did update the definition document on the website, include the change this year. So again, I recommend that's why you're interested, just print that off. We'll get an easy referral for the definitions as you come across these terms.
My bad.
Okay. So, like I said, there's 2 slides worth of definitions. So we're going to talk about a lot of these and these terms as we move through. So what is kicking? So kicking is intentionally striking the ball with the knee, lower leg, or foot. So what stands out there? It has to be intentional. So if you accidentally, or if you're going to recover a loose ball and it hits your foot while you're trying to recover it, is that kicking? No. But if the ball is loose and I run over there and I swing my leg and I touch the ball with my foot, is that kicking? Yes. Next slide, or?
No, you just go.
Okay. All right. So, a legal kick and pop-up kick. So, a legal kick is intentionally striking with the knee, lower leg, or foot, not compliance with definitions in Rule 2. Most common example is kicking a loose ball on the ground. And we'll see an example of this in a minute. And a pop-up kick is when the kicker drives the ball immediately into the ground. The ball strikes the ground once and then goes into the air, similar to a regular kick off of tee. This is a dead ball foul. Who's primarily responsible for this? Umpire. All right, so this blow.
Yeah, that's on yours. Oh, really?
So what do we have? We got a bad snap. That's on my end.
It's on the Zoom. We're seeing what they're seeing. We're seeing what they're seeing on the Zoom.
Okay. What was right here?
Yeah.
All right, so essentially, so the people on Zoom can see this clearly. It's going to drag for us, so we're going to walk through this. So essentially, we got scrimmage kick formation, and we got snap over the kicker's head. So what type of play is this? Loose ball play. And then he kicks it off the ground. So is that legal or illegal? Illegal. So what is the basic spot for this play? Is that? What's the basic spot? Alright. But where are we going to enforce this from? So this is a spot foul. Okay? So again, when you read Rule 10, it's not super clear on this, but this is still a spot foul. Okay, so we're going to enforce this on the spot of foul. Does this carry a loss of down? No. So what are the options here for R? So they can either decline the foul, and it's either safety or it's kicked out of bounds at the 1 yard line, or they can choose to enforce it and replay the down. Those are the two options there. So here's another one. So switch, here you go, right behind you. Yeah. So what we've got here is we've got an onside kick, and the question is this going to be a pop-up kick or not? So what is the? That's not a pop-up kick. It's a legal kick. That pop-up kick, we're going to see an example here, but that is a very, what is, for the umpires, what is the rule of thumb when it comes to the pop-up kick? What are y'all kind of looking for? Straight in ground and it goes up. The player should have to do what on a pop-up kick? Look up to catch it, right? Because that's what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like a pooch kick, basically. So, if they have to look up, then think pop-up kick. If it never gets above head level, then that's just a good onside kick. And if it takes multiple bounces and then it kicks up, that's fine, right? Because it's pop-up kick is driving it initially into the ground, one bounce up, high into the air. This would be an example. That one. He drives it high. So he drives it high into the air, and he drives it, hits the top of the ball and bounces high up in the air. And there's another shot from behind here. This is going to be the umpire view. So you see that? You see how high that ball goes? Everybody's looking up at it. That's going to be a pop-up kick. And so when we see that, what do we do? Kill. All right. And where does the enforcement spot? And how many yards is this? So more definitions here. So kick ends. So when does the kick end? Or the ball becomes dead while not in play possession. So if R muffs the kick, does the kick end? No. Okay. Let's talk about muff versus possession. So possession is when a ball is in player possession is held or controlled. Okay, and it's after it's been handed or snapped to him, or after he has caught or recovered it. Okay, so he possesses the ball, he has control of it. A muff is the touching of a loose ball by a player in an unsuccessful attempt to secure possession. And in the kicking game, what does this matter? Why do we care when the kick ends or not? Okay, touchback's one. Enforcement is another one. Yeah, there's a lot of situations where this matters. All right, so on this one, we're gonna have a punt. So the question is, when does the kick end? Kick ends when he possesses the ball, right? So does it matter? First of all, when K possesses the kick, what happens to the down? Yeah. If it's recovered where? Beyond, right? So this is a punt. K recovers it beyond the neutral zone. Down in, right? So the down ends, when he has possession, does it matter that he slides into the end zone after that? Or tries to pitch it back? No. It ends at the 2-yard line. So R is going to get the ball from where? 2-yard line, 1st and 10. Okay. Does it matter where his feet are? When it comes to being a touchback, what determines a touchback or not? The ball is. We got another play here. It's happening really fast. So what does the backers have to determine on this play? If he had possession or not. So there's two. So if he had possession, then what do we have? If he doesn't have possession, then what do we have? Okay. So signals. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to tell. If you rule possession, then he's down. So now R has the ball. If you rule at a muff, then when number 87 gets it, what happens to the down? It's over with. Whose ball will it be? BK's ball, right? They'll be awarded a new series because R touched it beyond the line of scrimmage or beyond the expanded neutral zone, and thus K would be awarded a new series. What would we do with the game clock? Start on the ready or start on the snap? Starts on the snap, and the play clock, 40 seconds or 25 seconds? 25 seconds. Okay. So determining muff versus possession has a dramatic effect on this play. We're either going to be giving, either R is going to be awarded a new series, or K is going to be awarded a new series. But what we're not going to have is K running it into the end zone, right? What would have had to happen in this play for K to be allowed to score a touchdown? So it had to be a fumble. Well, he called for a fair catch, did he not? You're not going to have a fumble. Okay, so we can rule that one out. Okay, but we need to, the backers are going to have to tell me, was it a muff or possession? So when I go look into the backers' eyes, and I'm like, what happened? Okay. I need him to say, R muffed it, and K recovered at this spot, or I need him to say it was a fair catch, and R was down at this spot. Okay. That's what needs to be said. And unfortunately, is there anybody that's going to be able to help the back judge on this? Nope. Nope. Nobody's going to help me. All right, so here's a good one. We'll kind of walk you through this a little bit. All right, so we'll hit pause here. All right, so we've got a game-winning field goal attempt. Okay, so that's what this is. Blocked. All right, I'm getting lost. All right, this is a field goal attempt. So when it's blocked, it's a live ball. What do we have so far? A team. Well, let's keep going. Uh-oh. We've got green, picks up the ball and is running with it. Yeah, so who was kicking? Green was kicking. Where did green recover this at? So can they advance it? Yes, they can. He recovers. He throws it up into the air. The ball's still alive, right? Uh-oh. What did we see that official doing? Killing it. So we have a game-winning field goal attempt that's blocked, that's recovered by initially R behind the line of scrimmage, and then they throw the ball up into the air backwards. A live ball. So then K picks it up. What can K do? And advance. But now we have an official blowing a whistle. So we have an inadvertent whistle. So who gets the options? Who had possession last? Green. So who gets the options? What are their options? They can replay the down, or they can take the result of the play. It's the last play of the game, so there's no time left yet. So it all depends. So the options for this inadvertent whistle depend upon when the whistle was blown, right? So they block the field goal, and we blow it dead before anybody recovers it. Now what is the option for an inadvertent whistle? There is no option, right? We've got to replay the down. We blow the whistle when R picks it up before they throw the backward pass. Now, who gets the options? R. And what are they going to choose? Control the play. What would we do if R picks it up and when he tosses it into the air, instead of going backwards, it goes forward? They go forward pass. No time left. So what would we do there? So first of all, no, if it falls to the ground. So an illegal forward pass that falls to the ground is what? Incomplete. Okay, so that's an incomplete forward pass. So the down ends. And then there's a foul, in this case by R. And what is the enforcement for an illegal forward pass? 5 yards to spot the foul and falls it down. It was the last play in the fourth quarter, the last time down. Are we gonna have an untimed down? No. No. Yeah, so, this one play, by them blowing the whistle, and what happened was a very lengthy discussion, but you have to know what happened. So as a crew, you're gonna have to know when the whistle was blown, the status of the ball, i.e., did a team possess it? And if so, what team? Okay. And then, if you don't blow your whistle and R picks it up and just throws it up into the air and hits the ground, you have to know what? Forward or backwards. And now we have this little issue of all these players running onto the field to celebrate. So what is that going to be? It's a non-player foul, okay? If you rule it an illegal participation, that's a foul, right? Or you can't rule illegal substitution because they entered during the down, so it's going to be a participation issue. Yeah. So if we end up replaying the down, then do we have a foul to enforce? Yes. Unless they're both teams, they would offset. So you'd have to know, but probably it's going to be the winning team running to celebrate, and the other team, throwing stuff on the ground. So this was in a playoff game somewhere. I don't know where it was at, but this was in a playoff game last year. And no, well, they just called the game and walked off the field. Yeah, they sure did. They sure did. I was like, keep playing. Well, that judge, they're really celebrating. Wait a minute. Oh gosh, Green's celebrating. Yeah. Well, no, because they had crossed the goal line, so something's happened. All right, so, okay, all right, the official's gonna huddle this up. Some officials like, you know what, I'm not getting in this huddle, I'm gonna walk around away from everybody. This is not us, it's not our state. No, it's not our state. Long discussion. Still don't know what's going on. White is celebrating. Again, an official's walking away from everybody else. Like, I'm not part of this. That's the one that blew the whistle too. And we just kind of wander off the field. So they ruled White won the game. Okay. But you can see how not knowing the kicking rules in this case can be a major issue. And so what was it that we had to know in this play? First, you had to know that a blocked field goal attempt is live. Okay? And then you had to know that if so R recovered, they threw a backward pass, K picks it up behind the line of scrimmage, they can advance. But in actuality, K could advance this at any point because who possessed it? R possessed the ball. So they possessed it and they threw it backwards. So that is a live ball. And so K could have picked it up anywhere. And ran it back. So knowing the main thing that they messed up was they blew the whistle on this when the ball was behind the line of scrimmage. Oops. Force. So when is force not a factor? Kick's going into R's end zone, right? So if a kick goes into R's end zone, it is what? Touchback. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. We must know when a kick ends. So force is the initial carry, snap, pass, fumble, or kick. So what's eligible for a new force? Grounded fumble, grounded kick, grounded backward pass. So what's the key? What is the one term that is linked to every single one of those? Grounded. So can a kick in flight have a new force applied to it? No. So how's the new force applied? Loose ball is grounded. It's at or nearly at rest. Player contact changes a loose ball's direction, and then the player muffs the ball from the field of play into the end zone. So does force matter if we're at the 20-yard line and Doug tries to recover it and he kicked and accidentally he touches the ball and it goes out of bounds at the 18? Does that matter? So force only matters when? And the goal line, yep, only matters from field of play into the end zone. You're going to have to rule that the ball would have reached the end zone without being touched. Yeah, you have to decide that, yes. Touching of a loose ball when a player is blocked into the ball is ignored and cannot create a new force. Okay, so it can't be that the ball is nearly at rest and then somebody comes in, blocks another player, and that player touches the ball and it goes into the end zone. You can't have that. You can't block somebody into it. New force is applied, so the covering official must determine would the initial force that caused the ball to go into the end zone. If yes, then do we have a new force? No. If no, then that player touching the ball caused a new force to have it go into the end zone. Okay. So, kicks declared dead in K's end zone. So we know what a kick declared dead in R's end zone is, right? Touchback. Because remember we said force does not matter going into R's end zone. So we're talking about kicks that are declared dead in K's end zone. So there's two options. What are the two options? Yeah. Touchdown or safety. All right. So fundamentals. So a kick always ends as soon as any player secures possession. So that is a fundamental. I know we talk a lot about that, but knowing when a kick ends is vitally important. Another fundamental. A scrimmage kick recovered in or behind the neutral zone may be advanced by K or R unless it's during a try. And if it's a kick try, what happens if a kick try is no good? Is obviously no good. It's dead. Ball's dead. Yep. And that's for a kick try, correct? Is that the same for a 2-point try? No. Free kicks. So, free kick line, always 10 yards apart. Another fundamental. Has to be 10 yards apart. So I like this example. We've had a whole bunch of penalties. And so K is now kicking off from like the 8-yard line. So where's R's free kick line? 2 yards deep in the end zone. It's not at the goal line, it's 2 yards deep in the end zone. Always 10 yards apart. So for a kickoff, if there's been no penalty, it's the 40-yard line. For safety, it's the 20-yard line. For a fair catch, or award a fair catch, it's that yard line through where that ruling was made. Free kick formation. So how many players must be on either side of the kicker? 4. When is the kicker determined? When the ball is kicked. So if they line up and they've got 3 on one side of the kicker, or quote the kicker, but they haven't kicked it yet, can they still make that formation legal what time it's kicked? Okay. Now, the player that kicks the ball may do what? Where may he be? He may be more than 5, he may be 5 yards or more behind. He's the only player that can be 5 yards or more behind. All right? And who's responsible for knowing this? Umpire. If you have one player, and I'm 5 yards or more behind, but they try a surprise onside kick, and Doug goes up there and touches the ball, kicks it, is that a foul? Yes. What is the foul? Illegal formation, and it's a live ball or a dead ball foul? Dead ball foul. This is a dead ball foul. Okay. Let's say they can't count to 11. They've only got 10 out there. Are we gonna let them do that? We're gonna try to get them out there. Okay. Let's say that they've got 7 to one side, 3 to the other side, and I go up there and kick it. Is that a foul? Yes. And live or dead ball? Dead ball. Dead ball foul. All right, so do encroachment rules apply to K? Yes. So they cannot advance. They cannot be beyond the neutral zone, beyond the free kick line prior to the ball being kicked, right? What player can have part of their body beyond the free kick line? The holder. The holder. Yeah. And the kicker, obviously, when he kicks it, most likely maybe part of his body might be beyond it, but the holder definitely can do that. Who's making this call? Line judge. Are we gonna, if he's within like half a yard, are we gonna flag that? If he's within 2 yards, if he's 2 yards behind or beyond it, are we gonna flag it? How obvious do we want this to be? Foot down before the ball's kicked. Foot down and beyond. And Lynn, what'd you say? If it's kick deep versus onside kick. So, if they're doing an onside kick, are we going to be more stringent on this? Yes. Because that's an advantage, right? I mean, he gets another yard or two, that's an advantage when it comes to recovery. So, again, we know what the rule is. You can't be beyond it. But there is some discretion in there if we can, in terms of when to call that. Now, this foul, is this a live or dead ball foul? Dead ball foul. Well, that's what we're talking about. Like, what's the situation? You know, if he's a yard plus, I think we need to call that regardless. If it's an onside kick, you're gonna be a little tighter on that because again, they will get an advantage getting a head start. We got kickoff. All right, so when did that kick in? All right, so he muffed that into the end zone. So does the kick in when it's muffed? No. And a kick that goes into R's end zone is touchback. When will the clock start on this? It will. It will start when R touches it in the field of play, and then it will stop when it's ruled a touchback. Okay. It will not. Let this keep going. We will not have a 102-yard kickoff return in high school football. Yeah, we won't have that. So, ball's touched by R, the two's muffed. You wind the clock, it goes into the end zone, you stop the clock, and you give the touchback signal. Here's another example. Now, all right, so there's fourth quarter, 2 seconds left, and it's a two-point game. And so White is trailing. They're going to try to onside kick. So is it really important to know who touches the kick first? Yes. If K touches it first, what do we do with the game clock? Nothing. If R touches it first, what do we do with the game clock? Wind it. If K touches it, does the down end? If K recovers it, the down ends. All right? No, this is, we're talking about this. So this is why it's important from the standpoint. Now we know an onside kick, so where are we going to be positioned at for this? Right, so the umpire's in the normal spot, line judge is where, K's line, linesman is where, R, back judges are, and then the referees in the back. So we have to know, does R at any point touch this kick? And they don't. You see that? You see that arrow on that white player? What's he do? Kind of hard to tell from there. But what if I told you it's bouncing? He does that. What is that? Is that legal? No. It's an illegal bat. Does the clock start? No. Do we have a flag? Has it down ended? Oh, now R goes to fall on it, touches it, muffs it, doesn't recover, ball's still loose, but R has touched it. What do we do with the game clock? Wind it, okay? Well, is it? For this game to be over with, who has to recover? R. If K recovers this, what do we have? Legal batting. We have a foul by. Well, so we have a foul by K on a what type of play? Loose ball play. So what would be the spot of the foul? With the enforcement spot, base spot, previous spot. But there's no time left. So does R have to accept this foul? If R declines K's foul and K recover, but there's no time left, game's over, right? Right, yeah, game's over. So we know if R recovers, that's easy. Just give it to R. Give it to R and get off the field, okay? But if K recovers, then you're gonna have to explain to R that if he declines the foul, the game is still over with because there's no time left on the clock. And the reason why is because R touched it. If R never touched this, there's gonna be 2 seconds. So if K bats this and then they fall on it, there's 2 seconds, and now R is gonna want to accept the foul and replay the down, the free kick down. But because R touched it, the clock starts, it runs out. Now we have to be able to explain to R, hey, you actually want to decline this foul, and the game will be over with. Does that make sense? Do you think it's one thing for us to be in a Monday evening, just kind of talking about this, and then actually doing this in real time on the field? Yeah, this is the time where you need to gather as a crew, away from everybody, and just walk through what happened, okay? And go, onside kick, illegal bat by K, ball is touched by R, muffed, clock started, recovery by K, for example. If, as a crew, all this is going on, do you think somebody's going to remember to wind the clock when R touches this? No, probably not. Do you think the clock operator, who is pulling for one team or the other, may or may not start the clock when R touches it? So if, as a crew, you get done with this play, and you realize there's still 2 seconds left in the game clock, but you know R touched it, what can you do? You can end the game. We can fix obvious timing errors, right? So if we know R touched it, we know this took more than 2 seconds to figure out who recovered it, then we know the game's over with. Blocking restrictions. So when can K block? Kicks go how many yards? 10, or they're eligible to recover, or R initiates the block in the neutral zone. Okay. All right, so we got an onside kick. So when are we going to see this? When are we going to have an issue with K blocking? On an onside kick, right? K's not going to block if they kick it deep. That would become dumb, right? So the issue is going to be an onside kick. Well, what all do we have to worry about on an onside kick? We got first touching. We got who recovers, right? We got to know that. We got to know Blocking. We got a lot of stuff. You've got 22 players, all within 10 yards of each other, roughly 10 to 20 yards. Because maybe the one guy standing back there with me, or we get to watch the whole thing. And then you've got 4 officials, and we've got all that. Display. So we got a surprise onside kick. And we have a massive humanity piling in there. And we've got officials coming in to try to figure out, what are they trying to figure out? It's the first thing we need to know. We need to know the result of the play, right? So number one thing. Without that, we can't figure anything else out. So we've got a highlighted player there. Has that ball gone 10 yards? Now what did that player do? He blocked. So we know that is a foul, right? What are the options on this play? Well, how do we know what the options are? What do we need to know? We need to know the result of the play, right? Because who recovers determines the options. If K recovered this, what is the option? Illegal block by K. What is the option if K recovers? Replay the free kick down, and we're going to enforce it from what? From where? Previous spot. And how many yards is this? 10. That's 10. Yep. If R recovers, what are the options? So they can choose the same. They can choose to replay the free kick down by enforcing from the previous spot. What's the other option R has? Tack it on. They can enforce it from the end of the end of the run, or the end of the down. So they can enforce that 10 yards from the spot of recovery in this case, and be awarded a new series. So when I come and tell you, when I run up there, what's the first question that I need to ask? What was the result of the play? What was the result of the play? And then from there, we can figure out what happened. So as an official, you see the ball, you see the block, you throw your flag, but what do you have to continue to do after you throw your flag? Officiate. And in this case, go figure out who recovered the ball. Yes, Brian?
And when you said recover, everybody knew that you had legally recovered, right? So the ball gone 10 yards at hit ground, A recovers, there's only those options that we discussed in that case.
Yeah.
If it's in the neutral zone and A touches it and or recovers, of course we've got the legal first touching.
Yeah, first touching. They still recovered it. They're just not going to be awarded a new series. Yeah. But to know who recovered it is step number one for me as a referee to figure out how do we enforce this, even if it didn't go 10 yards. So let's talk about, in that previous one, it was pretty obvious who initiated the block, right? It was pretty clear. K came in there and initiated the block. Sometimes it's not quite so clear on who initiates the block. And so if we're going to make this, it needs to be obvious who initiates. Because, if I have somebody, if I'm R and I have somebody running at me full speed, am I just going to stand there and get run over? No, I'm going to kind of tense up a little bit. Okay, I'm kind of lean, kind of protect myself. Who's initiating the block there? Can you tell? Is it R? Is it K? Is it both? They are just kind of running into each other equally. Equal, yeah. Would we call this illegal blocking by K? No, I wouldn't call that, because they are equally initiating force upon each other. All right. So if I'm going to block somebody, and they may kind of protect themselves, they see me coming, but they're not reaching out, they're not pushing, they're not doing something to push back against me, then that's a block. But in that case, they both lines just kind of ran together. It was like a, Civil War, charge, and they just run into each other. And so you can't tell who initiated the block. And in that case, you don't call it. So make it obvious that was who initiated. Free kick out of bounds. So what are the options? A spot. So you can take the ball at the out of bounds spot. You can take it 25 yards beyond the previous spot. So again, remember that if you don't kick off from case 40, case 40, you can shift, or you can do 5 yards from the previous spot and re-kick. But don't forget, you also have the 5 yards from the succeeding spot. So if the ball goes out of bounds, if you kick off from case 40, the ball goes out of bounds at R's 33, they get the 5 yards. You're going to give them the 5 yards. So now they're snapping it from R's 38. So they gain a little bit there. Don't forget that fourth one. Player out of bounds. So this is a change, right? And Federation grammar is not great, but we know that a player who touches a loose ball while they're standing out of bounds, that ball is considered out of bounds, right? It's dead. But this is the addition. If I stand out of bounds and then I jump into the air and I touch the loose ball, prior to landing in bounds, that ball is now considered out of bounds, and so that ball is dead. So if I go out of bounds, for me to be able to touch a loose ball and it remain live, I need to touch in bounds first. Yeah. If a ball is in possession, out of bounds, and it touches anything other than another player or a game official, and again, a loose ball is out of bounds, you touch anything, including a player or a game official, is out of bounds. But this green is a big change in the wording. So this casebook play from last year. R1 is running near the sideline as he attempts to catch a free kick in flight. R1 has both feet in bounds. When he reaches through the plane of the sideline, the ball bounces off his hands and lands out of bounds. So what is the ruling on this one? Who put the ball out of bounds? Who touched it last? R. So where is R going to get the ball at? Where it went out of bounds, right? R1 is running near the sideline as he attempts to catch a free kick in flight. R1 has 1 foot on the sideline. When he reaches through the plane of the sideline, the ball bounces off his hands and lands out of bounds. So when that ball touched R, when it was loose, it's out of bounds. So who put the ball out of bounds? Okay. No. So knowing where R is at the time that the ball is touched is vital to knowing the whether who put the ball out of bounds at. And B, yes. And B, yes. All right, so was that a pop-up kick? No, why was it not a pop-up kick? That's right, okay. When that ball landed, is K eligible to recover it? Yes. All right. Is the ball muffed? Yes. All right. What do we see about that K player? Out of bounds. So what do we have to rule for him to be able to come in and recover that? That he touched inbounds first. Like he probably did. And they got a knee down, a foot down. So if he touched inbounds first, whose ball is it? K's ball. Or whoever. That team's ball. I'm not sure who would actually pick it off by this point. I forgot. I think it was R. Yeah. So he recovers. Now, if he doesn't touch inbounds first before touching the ball, is that ball dead? Yes. 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 Oh, yeah. Here's another one. Onside kick. Ball's bouncing. So this gets into catch and recovery. So what does catch mean? Right. So catching is the ball, catching the ball in flight, right? Recovery is catching the ball that's touched the ground. Right. But if you jump into the air to recover, what do you need to do as well? You got to land in bounds, right? You can't, you've got to land in bounds. So watch this one. So he jumps into the air to recover it, and it lands on the sideline, and the ball comes loose. So has he completed a catch in bounds? So has he recovered this in bounds? No. Who kicked it? Okay. So what is this foul? Is there a foul here? Nobody touched it on flag yet. Free kick out of bounds. Free kick out of bounds. If R did not touch it first. Yep. All right, so we got a kickoff out of bounds. Ball placement. Where's this ball get spotted at? There's hash mark. Does R get the option of where they want to snap this from? Nope. When does R get the option? Touchback. Or fair catch. Or awarded fair catch. But in this case, the ball was kicked out of bounds. It gets spotted, not the middle. It ends. When the free kick ends, if case the free kick in, there's a down end. Yeah. Now, can K be awarded a new series? Yeah, they can. If the ball's gone 10 yards and touched the ground, they can be awarded a new series. Does the order matter? Cool. Okay. K could also be awarded a new series if R touches it first, right? And muff it. Then K can be awarded a new series. When R secures possession, does the free kick end? Kick ends, right? Does the down end? No. Okay. So when K secures possession, down ends and the kick ends. When R secures possession, the kick ends, but not the down. Okay, not necessarily. Now, obviously, R could do things that cause it to end, like signal for a fair catch. But the down does not automatically end. Is it legal for K to catch a kick in flight? A free kick in flight? Yeah, what is that foul? Kick catch interference. What are the options for kick catch interference? So they can replay from the previous spot. They can decline the penalty. It's always an option. Decline the penalty is always an option. They can accept an awarded fair catch and tack on 15 yards. Or may fair catch a free kick in flight in the field of play or beyond the neutral zone. Okay, so remember, we're talking about free kicks. So if they pooch it and it only goes about 8 yards into the air, 8 yards downfield in the air, can Art signal for a fair catch? Yes. And if they catch it, is that a fair catch? Yes. Do a couple more here and then we'll stop for the day. We'll pick up. All right, so tie ball game here. Push it. And all right, so when does the down end? As soon as he catches it, is that a foul? That is a foul. That is a foul. Does the clock ever start? No. And what are the options for R in this case? So what is that foul? It gets interference. That's what we just talked about, right? Another one. All right, another kickoff. We got guys running together, somebody's running upfield. We got a tackle made. No big deal, right? I want to see a different angle here. They're going to show a highlighted circle of the player, and he gives a fair catch signal. Does he catch it? No. Is this ball still dead? Yes. Is this a fair catch? No. So R will be awarded 1st and 10 at that spot. Why does it matter if this is a free catch or not? I mean, a fair catch or not? Protection. Well, what can they do if you rule a fair catch? Then they do have the option to try a free kick for a scoring attempt. Okay, so they do have that option.
Or placement of the ball.
Oh, excellent point. Placement of the ball. So, umpires, hey, I called a fair catch, but you didn't catch it, so where are we going to put this ball in? Nearest hash mark. Nearest hash mark. Yes. All right, so umpires. I don't know if y'all remember this one from last year. It might have been 2 years ago now. So they're going to try a fancy onside kick here. And this is mass confusion. Guys are running around, coaches are looking around, people are conferencing, kickers wants to replay. Nobody understands what the heck happened here. And now we have an announcement. And there will be a replay here. So when does the ball become live? Soon as he kicks it. Does it say he has to kick it very hard? So he touches that ball and it falls off the tee. That is a live ball, right? Okay, so a live ball that nobody goes and picks up. Well, if the wind knocks it off, then you're gonna stop it, and we're gonna redo this. So as an umpire, you see this. What do? Nothing. R goes and picks it up. What do? Nothing. Nothing. K picks it up. What do? Kill it. The ball's just laying there, not moving, and nobody's going to pick it up. How long are you going to wait? A long time. A long time. Like if you think, you know what, nobody's going to get up, I'm going to blow my whistle. No way, I'm going to wait again. And you're going to look around and you're going to be like, nobody's going to pick it up? All right, I'm going to wait again. And then eventually you're going to blow it. Well, as soon as the kicking team picks it up, what is it? It's dead. So that's fine. But you're going to give R as long as possible, plus some, to get their act together for somebody to start screaming on the sideline, go get the ball. Go get the ball. Okay? Go get the ball. Well, the umpire, probably, this would be the one time you're going to get the head start at the goal line, and I would start drifting back to the goal line and watching that, because you've got the line judge and the linesman who are both going to be standing there, right? Do they move off their lines? No. Stand there and watch. Stand there and watch. All right, so I think we'll stop here for the night. And we'll pick it up with fouls there and free kick downs next week and scrimmage kicks. Any questions about anything we covered?
We're here next week, right?
Yes, we are here next week.
All right.